day everyone. For today's discussion, we will be talking about the Republic Act number 8371, an Indigenous People Rights Act, Chapter 6, Cultural Integrity. Now, before we proceed to this topic, let me ask you, what is cultural integrity?
The Republic Act 8371 on Chapter 6 is cultural integrity. Chapter 6 is all about cultural integrity. This law protects the practices of respecting and honoring the ownership of materials, customs, and knowledges that derive from a specific culture or community for indigenous people. This is all about the protection of the culture, tradition, and institution. For the education systems, they have to access that even though public or private cultural entities, and for their scholarships for the ICCs or IPs. They have rights to protect their culture, traditions, and institutions. They have to access also about their biological and genetic resources for their domains. In the historical sites, the ICCs or IPs shall have right to receive the national government and funds with the support of the national government agencies. They have right everything that indicates here. We have 9 sections that indicates in our chapter, and in every section, my members will give insights each one of them.
Section 29, Protection of Indigenous Culture, Traditions, and Institutions. Indigenous people have the right to be respected like everybody else. They have the right to maintain or protect their culture, beliefs, and even their traditions. Hence, the government should have an equal treatment to avoid any discrimination. Section 30, Educational Systems. Every member of indigenous people have the right to be educated. The government shall elevate indigenous education based on the fundamental of equality and diversity. Furthermore, the government shall take the initiative in providing consideration to the indigenous people education, especially to their culture.
So the recognition of the cultural diversity, it tells us that the government shall take effective measure to promote tolerance, understanding, and good relations among IPs to eliminate prejudice and discrimination. And also for the community intellectual rights, it shall have right to practice, revitalize their own cultural traditions and customs. And also to protect and develop the past, present, and future manifestation. And for also to the right to religious, cultural sites and ceremonies. IPs have shall right to manifest this practice, develop and teach their spiritual and religious traditions.
Section 34 to 37. They shall have the right to special measures to control traditions and health practices, vital medicinal plants, animals, and minerals. Indigenous knowledge system and practices knowledge of the properties of fauna and flora, oral traditions, literature, designs, and visual and performing arts. Utilization and enhancement of these resources shall be allowed within ancestral lands and domains of the ICCs and IPS only with the free and prior informed consent of such communities obtained in accordance with customary laws of the concerned community. The state shall likewise promote the biogenetic and resource management system among the ICCs and IPS that shall encourage cooperation among government agencies to ensure successful, sustainable development of ICCs and IPS. The ICCs and IPS shall have the right to receive from the national government all funds allocated from the management and preservation of their archaeological and historical sites and artifacts, with the financial and technical support of the national government agencies.